Okay, so we're holding today on the Friday's Shir, which is was Chopches Adar. It's on page Memtes, page 97. כמה שאומר רז"ל, שתלמוד כנגד כולם. The Alter Rebbe explained us before how important is mitzvahs maasiyos, because by mitzvahs maasiyos you bring the oil of Hashem all the way down to the more physical realm. We said that according to Medrash Tanchuma, the purpose of the creation was nisavalo HaKadosh Baruch Hu lisla dira b'tachtonim. Hashem want to have dira b'tachtonim, so we want to bring the dira as tachton as possible, as the lowest world, and the lowest world in our own world as mitzvahs maasiyos. So comes out there was a big advantage of mitzvahs maasiyos. We like could bring the kedusha all the way down, lower part of ourselves in el chelek hamaisa, and we could also elevate the chelek hamaisa. But then the question is, if that's the case, why we're saying Talmud Torah keneged kulam? Mashomar zal Talmud Torah keneged kulam. Hainu v'nesh Talmud Torah or b'dibur umachshava. The mitzvah of Talmud Torah you do through speech and thought. Shehem, for example, if you're going to just think of Torah without saying it, you're not yoytze. You have to speak what you learn, and obviously you have to think also. If you're not understanding what you're learning, you're not learning. So Talmud Torah b'dibur umachshava shem levushim hapnimiyim shel nefesh hachiyunis, as we said, the nefesh hachiyunis. The soul has three garments, which is machshava, dibur, ma'aseh, thought, speech, and action. Through those garments, the soul could express itself, and the garments of dibur, machshava, it's a garment, levushim apnimi. It's an inner garment. Shel nefesh hachiyunis. Okay. So what the Alter Rebbe is saying over here, the reason Talmud Torah keneged kulam it's greater than ma'aseh, because the garments of the Talmud Torah offer the garments of thought and speech, and this is a greater level than just the garments of the ma'aseh. It's a levushim apnimiyim. So you want to bring the godliness also to levushim apnimiyim. We're going to go back and forth like something in Nigla. There was no end to it. What's greater, mitzvahs maasiyos or learning? Nimdu v'gomru, the Gemara says, Talmud goes, so Talmud maybe le demaisa. Again, so going back, the greatness of learning because it brings you to maisa. Over here also, the Alter Rebbe, a few prokim, going to go back and forth. There is a greatness in mitzvahs maasiyos. There's a greatness in learning Torah. So one reason he already said, because learning Torah, you make the inner garments, which is machshava udibur, holier, and it's levushim apnimiyim. Now it brings another reason. V'gam mehuson v'atzmuson shel b'chinas Chabad meklipas noiga shebenefesh hachiyunis, the essence of our intellect, chokhmah bina v'das, which is meklipas noiga. Again, the animalistic soul, klipas noiga, and we said klipas noiga is toivara, meaning you could use your seichel either for toiv or for ra, and when you use it for kedusha, so the essence of your intellect, shebenefesh achir is nichlolos b'kedusha mamesh k'shoisek b'toira b'iyun v'sechel. So that's a big difference between midah and Chabad. By mitzvahs maasiyos, when you do mitzvahs maasiyos, let's say you put tefillin, even though you put over there a midah, for example, by putting tefillin, you have to have kavanah that I'm subjugating l'shabed alev v'amoyach, I'm subjugating my heart, my mind to Hashem. So you basically work over there. From one hand, I'm saying it's a feeling of yira, bittul to Hashem. I'm doing. He's the servant. I am the master. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's the master. I'm the servant, and I'm doing what he wants. So that's enough yira, bittul. Then I'm saying, and I want to connect him. I love him. So it's a feeling. It's a midas of yira ve'ahava. It's midas. How he says by the midas, when you use them for kedusha, that moment they're holy. But then when you go back, they didn't. The essence of the midas did not change. Here's a big chiddush over here. By learning Torah, your seichel, that moment of learning Torah, become holy. The essence of the seichel become holy. Right now, when you learn Torah, your chokhmah bina v'das become holy. That's what he says. That's what he says over here. וגם מהוסן ועצמוסן של בחינת חב"ד מקליפת נויגה. The essence, not only the levushim, not only the garments, the levushim, but the essence of your intellect, yeah, and בקליפת נויגה שבנפש האחרית נכלולת בקדושה ממש. At that moment, it's being elevated to kedusha. It comes out when you learn Torah, you convert some of your chokhmah bina v'das, some of your mind into real kedusha. K'sho'isek b'Torah be'iyun v'sechel, yeah. B'av shemusan v'atzmos shelamidas chagas, the essence of the midas, which is chesed gevura tiferes v'chulu, all the midas. Lo yochlu lo ema b'inyanim lahafcham lekedusha. We have no power to turn our midas to kedusha. We could control them, meaning I can't say that my midas ahava, love to Hashem, or fear, yira, should be only used for kedusha. I converted it only if I use ever ahava, it's avas Hashem. By Beinani, we cannot do that. By tzaddik, you could do that. By Beinani, the midas are not converted. You could direct them, you could control them, but the essence of them, the midah could love something out of the realm of kedusha. The midah of yira could be fearful out of Hashem only, not only from Hashem, from other also. So the midas are not being converted. You could just direct them, you could control them, but in essence, the midah is a midah. For example, if I take a dog, I train the dog, yeah, to be more civil, or a cat. So you could control them to a certain degree. Comes a point, sometimes the dog going to become a dog, what he is. He's going to be himself. Sometimes he's going to forget all the training. He's going to be, it's what has happened many times in history. Something a person is a nefesh habama, is a behemoth. So the behemoth, all you could do, train the behemoth to be civil, to be nice, to be polite, to do the right thing. But it's all you need constant controlling that behemoth. The minute there could come time that the behemoth could go back to his behemoths. So that's what it says by the Beinanim, the Mahusa Vatmusa of the Midas, yeah. We have no koyach to turn them completely to kedusha. I know the reason for it, because the our midas, the evil, the chelek hara in klipas noiga, it's good and bad. The bad part of the midas, in the midas, the bad part of the midas, which is in the midas, that's a lot stronger than the way the klipas noiga is in our mind. The bad part of noiga in our mind, in Chabad. Without getting the bekitzur, well, there's another topic to talk about. There was Shvira Sakelim before the creation of this world, and the Shvira of the Kelim was, whoever familiar with this, it was mainly, the Shvira Sakelim was mainly in the Midas. So the Mele, that whatever since the Shvira was mainly in the Midas, the Midas have Yenika from there, from that, from the Inyan of Shvira, and the midas is a lot stronger, and that's why koyach godol koyach habam koyach odam, meaning the koyach of the behemoth of nefesh habahamis of the midas, that the behemoth of the person, the midas, is godol, it's stronger than koyach odam, than the moyach, than Chabad, and the Chabad you could convert to kedusha. Your intellect you could convert while learning Torah, that your mind becomes holy. The midas don't become holy, you're just controlling them. Okay, so again, he brought two benefits. He brought two benefits now. Why Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam? One, that you're doing a Talmud Torah with the levushim apnimiyim, with a higher, it's a higher level of levushim. Which is that the levushim of machshava v'dibur, it's a higher levush than dibur levush ha'maisa, and B, that by Talmud Torah, you elevating your Chabad itself, your brain, your mind being now holy. You're going to talk about more at the end of Tanya, how in every world, something with Kodesh Kadoshim. In this world, we have Beis Hamikdash, we have Kodesh Kadoshim. From that place going Hashpah to the whole entire world, he says in every world, in the world of Yitzir, Bria, Atzilus, there is a Kodesh Kadoshim, and this is the headquarters of Chayas supplies, energy supply. Meaning, the supply of this world comes from Beis Hamikdash and Kodesh Kadoshim. The supply comes from Yitzir, Bria, come from also the Kodesh. What is the Kodesh Kadoshim of the person? The person has Kodesh Kadoshim, that is mind. That's why it's called Kodesh Kadoshim. The mind could, with learning Torah, the mind could become holy. So, and that's the mile of Talmud Torah, that of there your mind become completely holy, which is by midas you cannot do this. Zois of Oida Cheres, Oil Al Kulon, Milas as a Talmud Torah, Al Kol mitzvahs, it brings another advantage of learning Torah over all the mitzvahs. We brought before Shamatikunim, the Ramach Pikudim and Ramach Evorim the Malko, the 248 commands, the mitzvahs, are 248 limbs of the king, and by doing the mitzvahs you connect to the king, by the person, and Orech V'Dimyan Klal. There's no comparison with the life energy you have in your limbs, with the life and energy you have that's flowing through your brain. In your brain you have your mind. So obviously it's your seichel, without comparison, way superior than your stomach. Your seichel, obviously, your mind is way greater than your feet. No comparison between them. It says, similarly, many, it's a huge difference between the Moshel and the Nimshal. The light of Hashem that comes down to us, and the light that comes to the mitzvahs maisias, it's at b'chinas evorim the malka. It's like the limbs of the body. So the light of Hashem that comes in the Torah, it's way, way greater. Everybody according to his own level, you have great different revelation. It says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Vayaras Oir Kitoy v'Gonzoi Latzadikim Losed Lovoi. Chazal telling us Gonzo b'Torah, meaning that great light, great revelation of Hashem, it's in the Torah. In the mitzvahs, you also have great things. It's Avorim the Malka, but it said there's no comparison between the chayos that you have in your limbs and the chayos you have in your moichin. Same thing. There's no comparison in Ha'oras Giloy Lakus. You have in the Torah, in learning Torah, and how much you have in mitzvahs maisias. You're telling me that learning Torah, it's one of the advantages of it, there's a greater gilu ilakus and the revelation level. Hashem revealed himself a lot more in learning in Torah than it reveals when I'm doing mitzvahs. But he says, when I'm learning Torah, and the masikala begashmius, we're learning Torah begashmius, shoshanag chasapora, you're learning sukkah gavoya esrem amo, you're learning inyanim gashmiyim, yeah? So how could you say that over there in this inyanim gashmiyim you have a revelation of godliness? What's so godly about this when you're learning the laws of ox, heat, gourd, cow, or other inyanim? All of them are connected to gashmiyim solamazeh, orlo, kilayim. What's so godly about it? It says, Torah compared to the water. Torah comes from high, the water comes all the way down. The Torah also, when it's over there, It's a lot more refined. It doesn't deal with ox and a cow over there in the way it's in Elam Atzilus. It's a lot more holier. It's a lot more spiritual. But it's like a water that comes from a high place, goes down. The Torah also came from all the way from a high place of Hashem down to us. As we as it brought before, we can Omru Razal. So before now we're going back to the Nisan. So again, he brought over a few advantages of learning Torah. The levushim, it's a higher levushim. Then the essence of the mind itself being elevated to kedusha when Hashem can the midas. Also, there is a revelation, godly revelation, more in learning Torah than in doing mitzvahs. Now he's saying going back, to the greatness of doing mitzvahs. Okay, it's so great learning Torah. The main thing is not just learning, but practicing. You're learning to practice, and you have to practice. Meaning, in this world of Hayoim, Lasoisom, that's the main thing we're here to do, Asiyas mitzvah. And Talmud Torah, L'kaim mitzvah, Maisi is the halacha says when there is a mitzvah, no one else could do it, and you're learning Torah, you have to stop learning, do the mitzvah. You could continue to learn if someone else could do the mitzvah. If not, you stop. So mashma, when you have a choice between the two, doing mitzvah or learning Torah, when no one else could do the mitzvah, you have to stop learning, do the mitzvah. Mashma mitzvah is greater. Mishum, the reason for it, that's the purpose of the person. And the purpose of his creation, the purpose of the creation, to make a dwelling place of Hashem in this world, in the lower world, to turn over the darkness to light. Gashmi is Davka. Hashem should reveal himself Davka b'mokem Gashmi, and the mitzvah is more Gashmi than learning Torah. V'rokol bosor yachdov kanal. It says v'rokol bosor yachdov kanal. The bosor, the basori, the gufa basori, you have to see God, not only a spiritual person or spiritual being, but kol bosor, any flesh, Gashmi. So that's why we have a mitzvah to deal with Gashmi. And when others could do, and we want Talmud Torah, then we don't stop learning. Even though the whole idea of Torah, it's explaining us how to do the mitzvah. So why can I just stop learning and do the mitzvah? Even others could do it. I should do the mitzvah. It's great mitzvahs. The Torah, it's the intellect of Hashem. When you learn Torah, when you're learning Torah, you bring upon yourself the light of Hashem, a lot greater way, and a lot greater revelation, without comparison. When you do mitzvahs, the revelation of learning Torah, it's way greater than the revelation of doing mitzvahs. The mitzvah is called only the limbs of the king, and the Torah is the intellect of the king. Rav Sheshes says, my soul should be happy. Rav Sheshes says, I read for you, and I learn for you. Kriya, it's reading Tanakh, it's Kriya. Tanoah, it's learning Torah Shebal Peh. Yeah? So Rav Sheshes says, the reason I learn for you, for my soul, why? Because my soul, when I learn, connect to Hashem. So I'm happy for the soul, why? Because my happiness with connection to Hashem. Again, so the Alter Rebbe went back and forth over here already a few times. He's going to do it furthermore. As on one hand, there is something great about mitzvahs ma'asiyos, because you bring the lakus down more lower to the lower world, to the Gashmizdika world, and you're elevating also the lower part of the world, more physical part of the world. And from another hand, there is a greater revelation of Hashem, Dafka, in engaging in with your intellect and learning Torah. So that's what Alter Rebbe went for. In each one of them, there is an advantage. Okay. That's the shiur of today. I'm sure Mamshich. The person brings down with learning and himself and all the souls of Klal Yisrael. Yashchina Knesset Yisrael, Makor Kol Neshama Yisrael, Mashkosu Lekamon. By learning Torah, you're not only bringing revelation to yourself, you bring also revelation to Klal Yisrael. Nikas Beloshan Kriya, Koira Batoira. It's called a calling. What's in English that would be reading, when in Hebrew, Koirim, it's like you're calling somebody. Koirim Batoira, calling somebody. Yeah? Pirush, why it's called Koirim, calling somebody? Koire Lakadosh Baruch Hu Lo Ve'elav Kavyochel. By learning Torah, it's like you're calling Hashem. Why are you calling Hashem? To come to you. Ka'odom, Lo Ve'elav Kavyochel, Ka'odom HaKoreh L'Chaveiroi She'yovo Elav. It's like somebody calling his friend to come to him. Ukven Koton HaKoreh L'Oviv Lo Ve'elav. Or like a small child calling his father to come to him. Interesting. He says, Kaben Koton. He says, like a small child. Looks like Ben Gadol not always calling to his father. Sometimes says, I don't want to see you, I don't want to be with you. So the relationship to Hashem have to be always have to feel Koton. The more you feel Koton, the more you're humble, the more you're connected to Hashem. Then you're calling him like a child. He enjoys his father's company. He's calling him to be with him. But that's the Chochmah always to stay Kaben Koton. When you're humble, you feel Kaven Koton, and you're learning. Then it's like Koirim Bator. You're calling him Love Elav. In fact, if somebody feels a Ben Godel, he has Yeshus and he has ego, then he doesn't. When you learn Torah, he doesn't call to Hashem to come to be with him. And what he calling to Love Elav Liyasima Betzavta Choda, with one company. Will only porad b'mana, not to separate from him. Will he show Yechidi and to stay alone? Chaz v'sholom. So that's Koirim Batoira, that's a new Pirush now. Not just reading, but Koirim, calling. What is that calling? Who we call? We're calling Hashem to come close to us and to be with us. To come to the Torah, in of learning Torah, we're calling him to come to us, to be with us. Zesh Omar, Korav Hashem, who said this every day by Ashrei, Korav Hashem will call Koira. Oh, Hashem is close to whoever calls him. The Chol Asher Yikru Be'emes, anyway, calls him truthfully. So according to this, and it's not only calling him truthfully. What's truth? Truth is Torah. You're saying to Hashem, come to me, not some empty, come to me. Through the Torah. When I'm learning Torah, when I'm learning the Torah, Torah's emes, with that I'm calling him to come to me. To exclude. Somebody says to Hashem, I want to be close with you, but he's not learning. You're just calling him, but it's empty call. Like the Novi complains, they're calling, but they don't call you with your name. The name of Hashem is Torah. What's that bishmecha? You're calling to Hashem, call him with the name. For example, I'll give you an example from a telephone. If you want to call your father on a telephone, but you're not dialing his number. You go, father, but you dial his number. How you dial? What's the number of Hashem? How you dial to Hashem? What is number? His number is Torah. Learn Torah, that's how you dial. That's how he comes. If you dial, come to me, but you don't dial his name, you don't learn Torah, then he's not coming. Because you didn't dial his number. His personal number, it's Shmoy. Shmoy, it's Torah. When you call him by the right name. Kikru be'emes and emes el Torah. You call with the Torah. Mosei is born a maskil. With all this, a person could think about this information, what we just learned. Lahamshich olav yira gedola should bring a great fear. B'shas esek Torah, como shekstanu leil perek of Gimel. Can you imagine when you're learning Torah? It's just not I'm learning a new chokhmah, I'm becoming more educated, knowledgeable. I am calling to Hashem when I'm learning now Torah. My mind becoming holier, connecting to Hashem. Hashem coming to me. So when imagine if God learns with your Torah, you should have some fear, some bittul, some derech eretz. God learning with you. That's what it says. That's is born in a muscle. Anybody that has this seichel information and he thinks about this, he should bring upon himself yira gedola, not stam yira gedola, b'shas esekator. Somebody learns like this. He understands learning is not just becoming a Talmud Chacham, becoming knowledgeable, getting more information, becoming famous. The learning is again elevating his mind to kedusha, bringing Hashem to him, and with that he is going to feel the presence of Hashem. The whole learning gets a lot holier than it. It goes two ways. The more you bring Hashem to you, and when you bring Hashem to you, you feel the yira. The meila, when there's a yira bitul, there's a ashras ashchina. Hashem doesn't come, something is not bottled to him. The meila, it's such a, when you bring such a kedusha upon you, now you attack a mind being elevated to kedusha, converting to kedusha. Your etzem seichel, like we said by midas, you can convert them, but the seichel learning Torah can be converted to kedusha. Here, Rabbi say, we'll see you tomorrow night. So we're